We went and got lots of spray bottles of vinegar and all the different things that, outside of somebody peeing on your leg, we had every remedy.
I mean, we did have a couple of our staffers. I mean, I told them to drink a lot of water just in case.
Ready to go.
Stay hydrated, guys.
You're listening to the Pre-Race Happy Hour podcast, where race directors Faye Yates and Joe Fleenor sit down over drinks to discuss this year's race, what to expect, and swap some fun stories along the way. To find your next race, visit MagicSportsUSA.com.
It's Beach Week. Do you know what Beach Week is?
Oh, do I know what Beach Week is? Who are you talking to?
Well, you have a house on the beach. I grew up going to the beach all the time, but Beach Week is like a thing in my wife's world where she grew up. She grew up in D.C., which it's not really known for beaches.
Oh.
But beaches, there's a thing called Beach Week in D.C., which is where all the people in that area go to, I don't know, some beach in Virginia, which I'm assuming Virginia is a terrible beach.
Virginia Beach, maybe.
But I guess when they're seniors, they all go to Beach Week, and that's a big thing. They all travel. So anyway, it's our Beach Week this week.
It's our Beach Week.
And we're in full festive gear in celebration of this year's Brett Robinson Alabama Coastal Triathlon.
And I have on, this is actually the volunteer shirt, staff volunteer shirt. And the racer shirt is purple, heathered purple.
Yeah.
Really pretty.
Well, being as though it is Beach Week, being as though this is our Happy Hour Race Director podcast in preparation for the Alabama Coastal Triathlon, we have partaken, is that a word? Partaken?
It is now.
In lots of different drinks leading up to these races, and coming in advance of our Gulf Shores race, we wanted our drink to be something a little special, something a little beachy.
Yeah.
And we discussed this drink more than every other race drink
we chose. There's a good story behind this drink.
There's a great story behind this drink.
Yeah.
So we talked about boat drinks and different kinds of things, and we kept coming back to bushwhackers.
Well, it's a personal favorite, Joe.
It's a personal favorite. We have, being there at the Hangout in Gulf Shores, which is where the race venue is, right there by the Hangout.
Yeah.
The Hangout has fantastic bushwhackers, and for those of you who are unaware of what a bushwhacker is, I'm going to leave it to you to explain what a bushwhacker is.
A bushwhacker. I mean, a bushwhacker is not a bushwhacker. It's not a bushwhacker. Let's just say that.
Oh.
There's a variety.
There are.
But I think the most common, people associate it with like a boozy milkshake. Like, so they may or may not have ice cream in it. But I think when people think bushwhacker, that's what they think.
The boozy milkshake.
Yeah, it's a boozy milkshake.
Well, we were talking about how do we do a boozy milkshake on this podcast? And that seems like a lot of work. You got to get ice cream. You got to get a blender. You got to do all this stuff.
It's a lot of work.
But luckily, we were just in Pelham at our Buster Britton race this past weekend, and luckily we ran into someone that gave us the perfect idea.
I mean, what an inside tip. Come on. And by the way, let's just quick throwback to, that wasn't that long ago, Buster. Are you recovered from that? And recovered from the greatness of it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I was high for like days after that race.
We just released our race video, and it brings me back to I love our new race venue for that course and the shade and just scenery of it. So it's great.
Yeah. I'm just going to remind people listening to this, you need to put this on your calendar for next year for August 23rd because it's the 40th anniversary for that race.
Yeah, big time.
It's big.
Big
okay,
time.
Now we can get back to this.
So it was you and I. It was at our award ceremony at Buster, and luckily, one of our great racers came up to us, and she was, which always cracks me up, raving about our podcast.
Yeah,
we got an audience.
We have an audience.
But she was raving about it, and she was asking about what is our drink going to be at this race, and we commented about, we wish we could do a bushwhacker, and she was like, well, have you heard about Bushwhacker, the premix drink? And we were like, no.
How did we not know about this?
And of course,
especially me.
Of course, what do we do next? We Google it and we find it, and sure enough, they sell it all around the United States. And luckily, it was right near our office. So
it's award-winning, Joe. Isn't this a big award winner?
It's a big award winner.
Yeah.
This is Beach in a Bottle Bushwhacker Coconut Rum Cream. So it's Caribbean rum with real dairy cream, natural coconut, coffee, and chocolate flavors, and caramel coloring. So we're going to try this out. and see how it goes. But you're right. They did recently win a gold medal award, and they were up against like 200 and something other drinks in whatever category they were in. And so,
Sounds
we
delicious.
Here, pass your glass over here, and I'm going to pour you a little bit of this. So I'm pouring this right now. It looks delicious. I'll kind of stop it there because it's potent stuff. So we got to be careful with this. Do you have your straw? You got a straw over there.
I have a straw. We have to get through the podcast, Joe.
For those of you who are not watching this on YouTube, we encourage you because you can check out our drink. We have a nice pineapple wedge slice in there. We got a colorful straw. So cheers, Faye.
Cheers.
Let's have our first sip of our Bushwhacker in a bottle.
Oh, well, that would be exactly what I would expect.
I think we're ending our triathlon season with a bang.
Wow.
It's so good.
That is delicious.
Ooh,
Award-winning delicious.
Oh, wow. I mean, I don't even want to talk about the race anymore. I just want to
This
sit back.
podcast could get really, really interesting.
I just want to pop on some Kenny Chesney.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I went to his concert recently.
I know you
the
told
first
me and
time.
you loved it, right?
It's fantastic. So he's got a vibe to him.
He has
And
a
I'm a
vibe.
little late to that game, but I'm glad I'm there now. So we're here to talk about the race. As
Yeah.
we'll continue to talk about this drink as well. We encourage people to check this drink out. But
For sure.
I would love to have you talk a little bit about the history of this race and
Yeah.
some of the great partnerships and reasons behind how we are in Gulf Shores and Orange Beach with this
Yeah.
kind of series of events, especially the Brett Robinson Alabama Coastal Tri.
Yeah, like how did this fantastic thing happen to us? Because it is indeed fantastic. I'll tell you, Joe, and I know you love it when I do this. I used to race quite a bit. So you knew it was coming, right? You didn't know.
I legit almost spit this out. I should have expected it.
I was training for Ironman Florida.
Oh,
The
There
only
we go.
Ironman I've done, which is also, right, the only Ironman you've done.
that's true. We
We
both have only done Ironman Florida.
Ironman Florida,
for
in Panama
Ironman
City
distance.
Beach. So my brother got married in Orange Beach, Alabama, the sister city to Gulf Shores, right? Labor Day weekend of the year I was training for that race.
Oh.
And I, guess what, had to do a long run the morning before the wedding. And so I was staying at the Perdido Resort where we host a race now.
Oh, shout out to Perdido Beach
Shout
Resort.
out, Jesse. I hope you're listening or watching. So I had to do a long run. So here I go. I've got to get 18 miles in, and from the Perdido Resort over to Gulf Shores, it's about 9 miles. So I just went down the beach road and back. Right. So as I got down to Gulf Shores,
Which is pretty much what you do on the Ironman course anyways. Most of that run is just right up and down kind of the beach road.
on the beach road. So
Yeah.
it was good. It was good training. Yeah. So I make it down there and I'm looking around. I stop, in this area of the state park in Gulf Shores. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why are we not doing a triathlon down here? So spawning from that long run from my training, we reached out to the tourism folks down there. They didn't have a sports and events group then, Joe. This was 2004, right? 2003, 2004.
Yep.
And we reached out to tourism and got something going. It took us a couple of years to get the date in place. So this race took place for the first time in 2007 at the Gulf State Park Saltwater Pavilion, not at the Hangout, because guess what? The Hangout wasn't there.
Yeah, wasn't a thing.
But we got it going on with the tourism people and started out with a single distance, not two distances. Did 2 years at the State Park Pavilion, which is also beautiful. But when they built the Hangout, they're just also getting this sports group going. And they came to me and said, listen, they've revived the vibe of a public beach restaurant at the Gulf Shores Public Beach. So what do you think about doing a race from there? And she said, let's have lunch there. And we went down and checked it out. Oh my gosh. I'm like, this is a race director's dream. I mean, it was a no-brainer. So 2009, we kicked in there. Yeah. So that's how long this has been going on. That's how it happened.
Yeah. We have lots of great races, and all of them have their perks, and everybody should do all of them, honestly. But
Well,
there's
yeah.
just something about being on the beach that separates this one from all others.
Yeah.
Where it's just a no-brainer. Like, if you have not done the Alabama Coastal Triathlon,
Yeah.
then you have got to get this on your schedule.
You must. If you're listening to this podcast, you're probably going to this one, but maybe not. You must do this race.
It's a home run event. The venue, by far, the first time I saw it
Yeah.
and got to be a part of it, it didn't take me long to realize this is the best. It's the best there is. There's nothing better.
Yeah.
The whole venue is supreme.
It's supreme. I mean, and when we first started there, by the way, the transition area was in a parking lot. And since that time, since we started, they've even done, it was already awesome.
Yeah.
And they expanded the beachfront to be even more, not expanded the beachfront. Well, they did. The beachfront is huge. But
Yeah.
I mean, the depth of the sand from the venue down to the water is gorgeous. But they developed a town green area where they do concerts at an amphitheater and those types of things. That's where our transition is, on grass.
It's huge.
It's a grass transition.
It's
It's huge
Our-
and gorgeous.
Our race has blown up this year number-wise,
Yeah.
which we'll talk a little bit about, which we're super excited about.
Yeah.
But we're going to have 800 plus people,
Yeah.
and that green has more than enough room for our size of event and room to grow.
Yeah.
So it's great. So I grew up in, just outside of Nashville, and, when you go to the beach, you go down to Gulf Shores, Panama City, 30A area. That's kind of
Yeah.
the traditional places. But when I was growing up, Gulf Shores was the primary spot. This was kind of pre-30A, like before it kind
Okay.
of blew up. Gulf Shores was our kind of go-to spot.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid, like, Gulf Shores seemed a little bit like, okay, it's maybe a little bit more of the rednecky spot back then.
Yeah. Well, it was
Not in
perfect for you Mount Juliet people, right?
Perfect for us. Mount Juliet, let's not forget where you came from.
Right?
But yeah, back in the 80s, there was just, a little bit of a different flair to Gulf Shores.
Yeah.
It's totally different now.
Oh, yeah.
Gulf Shores has, it's as pretty as any beach, if not prettier,
Yeah.
than the beaches of 30A. Yeah, you might not be with the people that make millions of dollars,
Right.
but that's perfectly fine with me because how deep
Yeah.
their beaches are, how white their beaches are, I love everything about it.
It's so gorgeous. And they host a lot of, our event is obviously a primo event there. They host a lot of really cool things there now because of what they've done and the beautification and what it brings. I attend every year in May the NCAA National Collegiate Beach Volleyball Championships.
That's
They've
cool.
hosted that on and off throughout the years, and it's amazing.
Yep.
The Hangout Music Festival, obviously a lot of people know about that. It's
Yep.
amazing.
I'd like to go to the Hangout Music Festival.
You would
it
love it.
conflicts, I think, with something on our schedule. It doesn't it?
Not
like-
anymore. It
not
did.
anymore. Okay.
It did with the Nashville Women's Tribe, but
I might
that's
have
moved.
to try that. Ooh.
Yeah, it's moved.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this year's race, we've had a number of these already this year, but we're once again been named a state championship race for the state
Yep.
of Alabama for this. So USA Triathlon designates one race each year in each state as a state championship
Right.
designate, and the Alabama Coastal Tri was awarded that.
So this race it brings extra qualification perks for the national championship with USA Triathlon. These national championships are really popular now. They do a great job with them, and so this will qualify for 2025.
Yep.
Alabama Coastal Sprint and Olympic, and it goes down to 35. The top 35% of the age groups, each 5-year age group, where it's normally 10 or 15%. It's a huge
15.
jump.
I think
15.
I think it's 15.
So a standard sanctioned race will give you top 15%. So this is a lot more. It's a much better chance to qualify for nationals,
Yeah.
which is exciting.
That's
and
great.
just just saying, hey, I'm an Alabama state champion, and you could be from Louisiana, Mississippi, following us down from Tennessee. You don't have to be an Alabamian to win that title.
Alabamian?
Yeah.
Sounds right. We're looking at the
What would you call it?
Alabamian. No, Alabamian.
It's for sure Alabamian, Joe.
Alabamian.
I lived there for a while, so I know the lingo.
So this race, once again, we kind of talk about our metrics for each of these races as we do these podcasts, and like I mentioned earlier, we're gonna likely hit or exceed 800, which we're very excited about. A tremendous growth from last year, and this is one of those races that we talked about as well with Louisville earlier in the season, where we have 4 what we call urban or kind of signature level events.
Yeah.
With Louisville Nashville, Chattanooga, and Gulf Shores.
Right.
These are the 4 that are kind of our signature series.
Yeah.
And we have full anticipation and expectation that these will continue to grow, and we're trying to grow the sport, and these events are some of the highlight events, and we would love to see 1,000+ people at all 4 of those events in the coming years.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so doable for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, this race is already, we're jumped. Well, we had 640 something last
quite a
year,
bit.
and we're
Yeah.
we're in good shape.
And it's a fun little racecation opportunity. Great partner with the title sponsor with Brett Robinson.
Yeah.
A tremendous lodging opportunities through the race. So
Right.
there's really no reason not to come down and enjoy
Yeah.
a long weekend.
Yeah, the prices go down the weekend after Labor Day.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a good time from that regard. Yeah. And our friends, obviously Brett Robinson, our title sponsor. They've been a title sponsor for a long time. Like most of the time.
Yeah.
Maybe since we've been at the Hangout. The Hangout is an amazing spot. And things have they're still busy down there after Labor Day. Busy enough for it to be fun, but not so busy it's crazy busy. It's a really enjoyable time.
I can't get the drink out of my hand. I'm just sitting here doing the podcast holding my beverage. Well, we have almost 20% of our racers are going to be competing in their very first ever triathlon, which is always exciting.
So fun.
And then 53% of the people coming down, including those first timers, have never experienced this race before, which we're so excited to showcase the event for them.
Yeah.
So again, that's kind of a typical number
That's a
with many of
typical
our
number.
events is
Yeah.
50% or so are doing that particular race for their first time ever. So we're showcasing our portfolio to a brand new audience every
Yeah.
time. So it's fun.
It's fun, and every time I hear the number, I act shocked for a minute. Then I'm like, yeah, that's what this sport is.
Yep.
And I actually love that about it. I've embraced it. Yeah,
I have to.
bringing in new people. It's different people each race. Yeah.
22 states are represented.
Oh, that's good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
We get obviously a tremendous Alabama crowd,
Right.
Florida crowd, Tennessee crowd has come out in force this year.
Yeah.
And then Louisiana.
Louisiana's
You got the New Orleans crowd, and they come out in full force as well.
right.
So we got
Yeah.
great representation, as well as somebody coming all the way down from Canada this year.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the course itself. Just gonna kind of give main
Yeah.
highlights.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would like to interject, once you kind of talk about the swim, I'd like to kind of throw in something on the swim course, if you don't mind.
I'll give you that opportunity. So yeah, let's talk about the course. So let's talk about this Gulf swim. I hear from people sometimes, I'm scared of the Gulf. Well, here's the thing about the Gulf. A, you're buoyant, right? You're more buoyant in Gulf water. Big perk. I mean, I chose to do Ironman Panama City Beach. Swimming's not my favorite thing to do, just because it's time consuming.
Is this like a drinking game where every time you say you did Ironman, we got a drink?
It's a fantastic idea. Ironman would love that too.
Drink.
I lost part of that with my giggle. So the swim, pristine waters, most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time. And we typically have calm waters. Well, I can tell you if it's really rough water, you're not going in anyway.
Right.
That's only happened to us once in all these years.
In all these years.
Yes, it's so fantastic. But sometimes we get surprises in the water. But we manage those surprises. Do you know what surprises I'm talking about, Joe?
Well, thank you for the segue. Yeah. So, it's an ocean swim.
Indeed.
And it's the home of lots of things that are not human. Right?
Yeah.
And so one of those things are jellyfish. Jellyfish are known to come into the Gulf, especially,
They're so
and
pretty.
be in areas around Gulf shores and up and along that area. So just a few years ago, we encountered a jellyfish pod that was kind of out in the middle, or kind of on the perimeter of our swim course a few years ago. And so we knew about this because luckily the lifeguards there notified us in the days leading up to it.
Right.
And we discussed it and what we were going to do. And we determined that the pod was a little farther out and more in our Olympic swim course.
Yep.
And less so in our sprint course. So we made
Right.
the decision to shorten our swim and have people only swim in this sprint section of the course and just do multiple laps.
It's a genius race management move.
It's fantastic. And so we made that call.
Yep.
Let participants know this is what's happening. This is why we're making the decision. Cannot promise that jellyfish will not encroach into the sprint course, but the bulk of them are beyond the course. And so for the start of the race, not a single person opted to switch to bike run and avoid the swim. They all decided to swim, which I thought was awesome.
It was awesome. They just totally embraced it and said, "This is the Gulf, and we're swimming in the Gulf."
And so we had all contingency plans. We had lots of lifeguards there.
Yeah.
We also we went and got lots of spray bottles of vinegar and all the different things that outside of somebody peeing on your leg, we had every remedy.
I mean, we did have a couple of our staffers. I mean, I told them to drink a lot of water just in case.
Ready to go.
Stay hydrated, guys.
So luckily we just stuck with the vinegar.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite stories is there were some stings still, nothing serious, but typical kind of jellyfish stings as people went through the water and they would come out. The best part was we made them do 2 laps because you remember we shortened it, so they had to do 2 laps. So those that got stung had to come out. We had to address their stings with the vinegar, and then we had to tell them, all right, go do it again. And you know what?
They did.
Every single one of them jumped right back in that water and did it all over again.
Yeah.
My favorite story, and we'll move on from this, is when one of the participants came out, and they were like, the jellyfish, it got my face. Can you spray my face? And the little lifeguard down there, she sprayed the vinegar in his face, and he goes, the vinegar's in my eyes.
I remember that like it was yesterday.
And they just washed it out and just kept on. Yeah. And everybody was so proud that they did that. And it's cool. Luckily, it was no big deal.
Those people must stay in touch still, I think. Don't you think? Like the crowd of racers that did the jellyfish race.
I think it's great. I think it's fantastic.
There's got to be some kind of social media group like the Alabama Coastal Jellyfish.
The Year of the Jellyfish.
The Year of the Jellyfish. Well, I have good news, and I don't know if it's going to hold because we'll deal with whatever we have to deal with because again, it's the Gulf of Mexico, and things are out there. So jellyfish have already come to town.
They've come and they're moving on.
Well, we hope so. I was there in July, late July. That early, the jellyfish were there, which is uncommon.
Okay.
So I'm thinking they're going to move on out. They're going to they might hang out through Labor Day, like a lot of people do. And then they're going to say, you know what? It's time to clear out.
So when I did Ironman Florida, you swim. It's just right down the beach there.
Yeah.
In Panama City. And so the swim was gorgeous, just like our swim, where it's just crystal clear waters.
Yeah.
And I remember swimming, and you're just looking down, and there's just the most beautiful jellyfish just kind of like floating and bobbing down underneath you. And at first, you try to take short. You try not to go too deep with your strokes, but then you're like, whatever. And so you start swimming. But it was fantastic. It's a fun little thing to see out there.
I loved it. It was a good distraction for me.
Thing.
That's a lot of swimming.
It's a lot of swimming.
Ironman distance.
Oh, jeez. This is. Let's not forget, this is 17% proof. Ooh. All right, so let's be careful here.
Let's be careful.
Although we're both done. I just looked over. We're both done. Oh boy.
Oh boy. All right, what's the next topic, Joe?
I don't know. Oh, we're only through the swim course. Talk a little bit about bike and run.
Okay.
They're both flat.
Yeah. I'll just say about the swim. If you're doing the Olympic, it is a 2-loop course.
It is.
2 laps. You come out of the water. They'll be directing you to go back in the water. You do 2 laps of 750 meters.
Which is helpful because you're not out so far, so long in the Gulf. You're just a shorter loop.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. It's more intimate. The bike course, fantastic. You go west on West Beach Road. Everything's on the beach road with the bike and the run. West on West Beach Road, sprint course is 1 lap. As you might guess, it's completely flat.
Hold on.
And then Joe's really busy over here.
I like that noise.
For the Olympic course, you turn around and go back out and do the same course again. 2 laps for the Olympic.
As you're talking, let me just give you a little refill here.
And then for the run, you go the opposite direction. You go to the east.
Okay.
Let me get that back within arm's reach there, just in case we get the special word that... What's that word? Well, anyway. Just kidding. The run goes east.
Do we have a safe word?
We should. We clearly need a safe
I think
word.
our safe word is noodle.
This is the happiest happy hour yet.
So this was.
We are so happy today.
Aren't you so happy that I have a purple pool noodle in my garage that I found this morning? I thought it'd be a good decoration.
The fact that it's purple is appropriate.
Okay,
Back
where
to that
were we?
run course, Joe. The run course is to the east, and this race is different than many of our short course races in that it's a 2-mile run.
Yeah.
So you're just running out a mile and back in. And you finish right beside the hangout where your most fabulous post-race party is. For the Olympic course, you have to go a little further. Sorry, but it's not a 2-lap run course. So 2-lap bike course, but not a 2-lap run course. It's all the way out to where we used to host the race, which is kind of cool.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever thought about that. You're turning around at the original site of the race,
The OG site.
the OG.
Yep.
And then come on back, again, finish at the hangout. Great post-race party waiting.
So you pass on the run course. You pass this. What is it? The pink pig, pink elephant, pink pig. What is it?
The Pink Pony Pub.
Pink Pony Pub.
Yeah.
Have you been in the
It
Pink
matches
Pony Pub?
your sunglasses. I have. Have you not been in the Pink Pony
I've
Pub?
never been to the Pink. I mean, I've been
what-
to.
Every Friday of setup day, I'm in the Pink Pony Pub. What are you doing?
I'm so glad you brought this up. So I got one
Aren't
more
you?
story to tell. So one day, I think it was the first year we worked together. This was 2021. And I remember it was hot. We were worn out, setting side up on the day before the race. And I look over and I'm like, where's Faye? Just nowhere to be seen. And I was like, let me go check out the hangout. And I walk into the hangout, and you and like 4 of our crew members are just perched up there at the bar.
Yeah, we were. I will never forget that look on your face.
It was great. I was so impressed. I was like, all right, I think we
And
made
I
a
think
good.
You sat down.
I did. I did not go back out there. I sat down as well. I might have had a bushwhacker.
I feel confident.
I think we might have been having packet pickup at the time as well.
Yeah.
So most of our stuff was
We
done.
don't usually take part in that.
No. We're behind the scenes on that.
Yeah, we're behind the scenes for sure.
Okay. So let's speed this up a little bit. All right. So
Okay.
we've kind of gone through the course. We've talked a lot about. I think we're done with course stuff, right?
I think we're done with the course.
You can find maps online and ask
Yeah.
us questions if you have
Yeah.
specific questions.
Yeah.
Let's get to the nuts and bolts of the hangout, because I think this is one of the perks of this race is the fact that we have the hangout as our venue, not only for packet pickup, but also
Yeah.
for our post-race party, which is super fun.
Super
Talk
fun.
a little bit about the hangout and what all
Yeah.
they provide for us.
Yeah, so the hangout, as I mentioned before, it's like it's a beach bar basically and restaurant, open air beach bar and restaurant. It's amazing, and we do the entire post race party is there. The awards are there. There's live music going on. It's fantastic, and it's like I said, you finish the race and you take a right hand turn into their courtyard. Our partners with the Gulf Shores Orange Beach Sports and Events Group, do all the details with the hangout, and there's great food and obviously plenty of drinks, and it's just a fantastic time. We haven't talked about our awards for this race. That's what the awards ceremony is too, from the stage of the hangout. We have really cool full-size beach towels with this logo.
It's beautiful.
It's fantastic.
Which the little building that's on there is meant to represent the hangout.
Yeah, good shout out to that. Thank you. Yeah. So it's a fantastic experience. Yeah.
I just ate my pineapple, by the way.
Was it good?
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that pineapple was so expensive. But I came to learn that today. I thought I got a deal on this pineapple. It's a beautiful pineapple, as you can see behind or right next to you. We have a pineapple on display. And I purchased these today.
You were
Thinking,
so
wow,
proud.
what a great deal on a pineapple, like $4.50 for a whole pineapple, organic. And then I came to the office and I was bragging about, man, I got an amazing deal. And Megan on our team was like, I sometimes get them for like $1.99. It's like, what?
Right? You're like, what?
Dang it. So pineapple's pretty cheap, I guess.
She maybe knows how to shop better than you. I don't know.
Is it like, I did go to Whole Foods.
I'm not
that
a
could be
great.
a problem.
I'm not a great shopper.
Whole Foods, I don't know.
She probably shops at Publix, is where
But
we
if you're
should
getting
be
an
shopping.
entire fruit, it just seems like a good deal to me because fruit's not cheap generally.
It's not.
Okay. I mean,
Okay.
okay. All right. So I do want to shout out a couple things because
Yes.
this is a very heavily club participant event, and we got clubs from all across the Southeast that come in droves to
cool.
this race, which is great. A lot of times it's oftentimes local clubs that participate heavily in our races. This one, they are from all over the place.
Yeah.
So I do want to shout out a couple.
Yeah.
One in particular that I get to last just because they have so many people coming. But shout out to the Central Alabama Tri Club, the Chain Tri Team, Nashville Tri Club, Steel Magnolias from New Orleans,
Ooh, nice.
Team Rocket Tri Club, Tri Chicks Multisport, Tri Possibilities Coaching Team, and Working Triathlete. But the group that has come with the most participants by a lot is our good friends at Tri Gulf Coast there on the beach.
Oh, so many.
They're
from
always
there.
very supportive. So those are all of our clubs that have just a very large contingent of racers coming. So
I
it's
know
exciting
all
to see
of
that.
those clubs except Chain. Where are they? How do I not know that?
Chain Tri Team.
Chain Tri
I think
Team.
Chain Tri Team might be. I don't know either.
Yeah.
But I feel like they might be one of those coaching / club programs.
Okay, cool. Cool.
So excited to have
Well, we
them.
want to get to know them too. 'Cause
You
I
know,
should
one thing we have not addressed today.
Is there an elephant in the room or something? That
It's
we
not
haven't-
really an elephant. It's more of a Green Bay Packer / New York Jet in the room.
We had a celebrity.
We did have a celebrity, and I meant to bring this up earlier, and I
Yeah.
do want to include this because
Yeah.
I think it's super cool.
Yeah.
Where you're, this
This
was
was pre-Joe.
this was pre me,
Yeah.
but this was in 2000s ish.
So
You
something
had
funny, but I'm not going to say it. I'll tell you later.
I think I'm desperate to know, but I'll wait.
Wait, you're going to wait.
I think that you had a celebrity show up at one of the
We did.
races.
We did.
Talk a little bit about that.
We had an NFL quarterback, Brett Favre, showed up at the race.
Brett Favre
Yeah.
raced a triathlon here at the
He
Alabama
raced
Coastal.
the Alabama Coastal Brett Robinson Alabama Coastal Triathlon, and his wife also races,
Oh.
by the way. And yeah, he just, no announcement that he was going to be there. Obviously, we spotted him, and it was under a different name,
A pseudonym.
And I think he had a great time, and his wife came back the next year. He didn't race the next year. I think he had some kind of injury going on, but his wife did race, and he was there again. But here's a funny thing. I got a phone call from a staffer that is watching ESPN 30 for 30 and says,
yeah.
there's a Team Magic swim cap on 30 for 30. I'm like, yeah, that's Brett Favre from the Alabama Coastal Triathlon, right?
That's cool.
I guessed it right away. He goes, yeah, it is. Yeah. So, we pop into some pretty high profile things.
Well, I can
every now
guarantee I
and
know
then.
what his injury was.
Please tell.
He was notorious for concussions. I bet he had a concussion. Which might be part of why he's kind of in a little bit of a downfall currently. So it's a whole nother
Concussions could do that.
topic of discussion.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So this race, we've talked about it. I think it's a must race event. You have to have it on your calendar.
Yeah.
And once you get it on your calendar, you're going to want to come back year after year. And I hope that we've still got a week. By the time this gets released, we've got like a week or so.
Yeah.
And so we just encourage everybody to come out and race because
Come out and race.
we're going to have a lot of fun.
And in 2025, Joe's racing.
Yeah.
And in 2026, I'm going to race.
Wait.
What? Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. We'll see.
I don't even understand the response. Okay.
Is there anything else? I mean,
Maybe, but we could talk
There's
all
lots
day
to
about
talk
this
about.
race. I mean,
Right.
we're so excited to go. Oh, and it's a wrap of our triathlon season. Did we say that?
no, you're right. It's our last triathlon of the season.
Yeah. I mean, it's a massive season we've had. It's been every race has been amazing. We've had our numbers up. We've had great crowds, and we're wrapping it up at a wonderful location.
Look at how relaxed I am. I'm just slouched.
I mean, in our
I just looked at myff and like, oh, this
There's
isn't
something to do
this
with
isn't
that
the most
bushwhacker.
professional look.
our staff gets to and there's triathlon season at the beach.
Yeah, they're gonna have a great time.
Just to shout out, speaking of the beach, our next two races after this are at the beach. So we have a November run and a March run at
Yep.
the beach. We're back down there again.
All right.
3 beach races in a row.
Well, let's make sure that everybody gets signed up ideally before Thursday, as our prices do increase on
Yep.
Thursday. For the last few days leading up to the race, the prices will go up.
If they
So-
wait, we could buy another Bushwhacker bottle. If they wait, we'll have a little extra.
Yeah.
A couple of you wait. We'll take some late
We
entry
just
fees.
knocked out half a bottle of that stuff.
I just looked at that. Okay.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. We had a great
Yeah.
time. Hope you guys did too. Hope you enjoyed a drink as well during our race director happy hour.
Yeah.
Kudos to Beach in a Bottle, the Bushwhacker drink. Kudos to the person that
Our
notified us of
friends
this.
at the Buster race. Yeah. Everybody have a great race. We'll see you soon at the beach.